So, why is running a company like a family a good idea? What do you think?
I actually don't know whether it is.
That's a good question.
And a good answer. Oh, man.
So I see. Should I start then? All right, I will start. I will start there, people. Hello and welcome to another episode of the Awkward Business Podcast. Today in the original formation of Daniel, Sina, and Kai, speaking of himself in third person. Creepy. All right. Today we're going to talk about running your company like a family. I know that might sound a little bit contradicting, but we're going to give it a try because it is our own experiment to do so. So stay tuned, follow us on all the channels, and we're going to start with the intro song. Prepare, breathe in your belly. It's like yoga lesson. Awkward, awkward.
Business.
Podcast.
Nice.
This is kind of cute. Right.
It's very shy intro.
Very shy, very low energy, but that's okay. Maybe
I
we
think
can
we're
get.
quite low energy today,
Yes.
so that really fits.
Not today, but like
No,
since 10
like,
minutes, I feel like
exactly.
it is. It's absolutely true. So, why is running a company like a family a good idea? What do you think?
I actually don't know whether it is.
That's a good question.
And a good answer. Oh, man.
So I see. Should I start then? All right, I will start. I will start there, people. So the original idea of that was actually happening again on the same hike where I had the podcast idea. I thought of La Familia. We thought about this construct already earlier, but it felt I don't want to take ownership of the idea. We all had like the similar idea, but actually I had it. Actually,
Somebody has to propose it.
Yeah, and what that entails is that you have several social elements in our collaboration that you normally wouldn't have, like truly getting to know each other on a very, very deep level. And I think that is extremely valuable for running a company, especially a smaller firm like we do. I feel it's so much more relaxing to work with people who also know my weaknesses and who know my dark areas, kind of, or like my not so preferable characteristics. Because then I don't need to, at least for myself, I don't need to portray, or I need to portray much less a positive image to you guys. Mm-hmm. And that, on the other hand, then doesn't use up all the energy to make a good impression. I can actually use it on the most important thing, which is creating impact on this world, we're creating impact for our clients, and also having a good time with you. And that's really cool. And that's why I truly enjoy having it more as a family than the classic, at work I'm like this, and at home I'm like this. I think it's also a very old-fashioned idea that starts to it's already crumbling. It's not slowly crumbling. It's crumbling fast with the internet, all that authenticity culture that is happening. Yeah. How do you perceive it?
For me, it's similar. Like, the more I can be myself around you guys, and the much better is also my work, my energy level, my feeling, or my need of feeling a certain kind of belonging and a certain kind of being heard and listened to. I don't know. That's something I feel is very valuable within the team. And the biggest or the most important part for me is the trust. Basically, knowing that I can trust the two of you, even if I'm not capable of doing my work, for example, because I'm sick or whatever, is the most valuable thing for me. To trust you so much, also to trust you enough I can be myself around you and don't have to pretend to be somebody else.
But that's also like vulnerability, right?
Yeah.
I think the most from us, because I sort of came into like in that system, or sometimes I feel a little bit that way, or I felt a bit that way.
You felt like what?
That you already had like the two of you had much more established system, and I was like the third part coming into that system, which is like on the legal part also the case, but I think it's a little bit different for me, and for me there was like a very active vulnerability part to like show vulnerability and accept it, and only if you can do that, to like actually show a lot of vulnerability and just be truly yourself, then you get like on that relaxed part, you know? It's like the relaxed thing when you just say like, I don't know, it freaked me out at the beginning that you could say like, oh, I couldn't work today. I didn't work all day. And I was like, at the beginning, I was like, yeah, but dude, we have a company together and, you know, we all have to work a little bit like that. And that just, you know, it's just because we're honest. That just, it's okay now, and it's good, and it feels good, and but it took a while to get on that level of honesty and as well on vulnerability, and it's really nice to have like on your company level to be like more vulnerable and more honest than I am these days on many friendship levels.
So all friends of Daniel, ask yourself, are you close with him or not?
No, there are actually not that many friends of mine are super close to me. You know? And sometimes you realize that also when you go through a transition process like that, you start to realize like how close am I to whom? And I could be transparent and they know it as well. It's just no benefit to like name now a lot of people.
No.
But
I was just kidding.
It's a crazy process.
Yeah, that's true. And I feel in our dynamic, I've seen a huge change in you when we started collaborating, and also our friendship. Grew very much through that process of especially when it's scary and you think you shouldn't say it. That's exactly the thing you should share with the team. And I often in these kind of conversations about honesty, I like with almost everybody, the first thing, well, but you also have to be respectful. You know, like, oh, I cannot say this out of respect and stuff like that. But my philosophy is it is more respectful than to share your truth, and the truth might result for the other person in some feelings, but at least you're in the moment together and you can work through it, and it's uncomfortable. I mean, I also see that in my relationship, right? It's uncomfortable, but on the other side, you create an amount of intimacy, like you maybe are temporarily pissed at each other, but as long as you talk it through, the intimacy that then can be created is out of this world. It's really cool. And then you have stuff like you said before, with you just feel this sense of belonging. And I also feel this when we three work together on a project that is fun. Rarely have I seen a more productive team. You know, with just no bullshit. It's fun, it's light, but very productive. And I think this is this is the flow zone, right? It's fun, it's light, and very productive. And to achieve this zone, I think there is a lot of work that has to be done beforehand within a team so that can actually happen. And I think you also have to choose that. That's why I say run it like a family, or why we chose that thing, is because then you have to be really careful who you let into that family. And not in the sense like, no, nobody can, but you have to ask yourself questions before you just start adding people to the team. And I mean, there is the close family, like we are, and then there's extended family. I always say it's like, you are my brother's brother and sister, and then there is that. And then there's the uncles and stuff like that, you know, and you can have a little bit of strange uncle and so on. It's fine.
Or you need also like a weird uncle, and you need the freaky cousin.
That's true.
And we want to see that also. Mm-hmm. We want people to be themselves if they join our team. It's one of the things we pay attention to.
Also friends. We also need like the spacey friend who is like a little bit, you know,
who's challenging the reality we're in, basically. And I think that is very good. That's with the whole diversity thing, and that I think that's true. That's when you create true results, is because we're different characters. We have some similar values. In a lot of respects, we actually have the same values. But how we manifest those values, or how our characteristics are very different, you know?
Yeah, also our skills and things we put energy to in our daily tasks and work, or how we work. It's also a little bit different. Mm-hmm. And at the same time, so valuable to see how it can be done differently, at least for me, to get to know the speed of implementation, for example. Like just call them up and ask for whatever just came up. I'm like, oh, you didn't think about what you're gonna say? What? So I learn a lot from that also. Like in a family. It's like you learn from your siblings. You learn from your uncles and aunties. I like that. And I think it would be very like a black and white world if we didn't have that. And we need the colors that are there.
I think that while having fun part in our vision, I first didn't fully believe that it's even possible. But the courage to just have this, because it took a little bit of courage to have this. I think we help people grow while having fun. And this while having fun is still a little bit smaller on our website. But nevertheless, this part is actually the thing that people, when I talk to, I say, quote unquote, more modern-minded clients, they're like, oh, that's the good bit. Yeah, people need to realize that learning has to be fun. Otherwise, people will not go through the transition and stuff. Like it can be hard at times, of course, but generally you need to have fun while doing stuff. And I think with the family part also within, it is fun to go to work. Mm-hmm. And through that, I often see we have a lot of slumps also, but there's a lot of creativity happening when we're coming together. And I really like that. And it feels effortless. It doesn't feel like I have to be creative now. And I think it's one of the locks. If you want to unlock innovation in your company, if you want to unlock a lot of creativity and also productivity, is you have to understand that you collaborate with humans. And I think a lot of organizations are organized like machines. And then you can create results, but it's always you have to kind of have processes in place. And so, of course, you have to, at a certain stage, you need processes, of course. But especially if your job is to come up with creative solutions, and that is a lot of jobs, the majority of jobs that are out there right now, you have to have some amount of creativity. I think you need to create a surrounding where people trust each other. And I think that family idea is really interesting, to me at least. And it's challenging. It's also...
And I feel like we're living this, and I haven't seen another team, or at least not on... Maybe I didn't get the insights and like in such a deep level in teams. I see a lot of teams in different companies, also my workshops, and there's a lot of pretending around, like not trusting, not being able to be open and honest, feeling exhausted going to work and pretending like they know everything even though they don't. But the culture or the team doesn't allow to feel comfortable enough to say it, for example. So all those things like this, I like when I hear it, like, this sounds exhausting. And I used to be like that as well in my one of my first jobs also. But now I like, everybody got to do what works for them, of course. But this, like being in a family setting or like treating ourselves as family, also calling our dinners that we have, not company dinner, but family dinner. I'm really enjoying this. Yeah.
There's one of a very successful hotel in Dubai that I was just in a couple of weeks ago, and they have one of the best ratings. It's like, I believe it's the Chedi, but not the Chedi that we know from Andermatt. It's the one in Sharjah, right next to Dubai. And they have a rating of 9.6, I think, or something incredible. Like something you do not normally find in hotel ratings. It's just not happening. Only like small guest houses, but not with hundreds of ratings. And what most of those ratings say is, it was so beautiful. They said, welcome home, you know, when you're entering the hotel. So they have this family, exactly this, Savi Saviri's got it, you know, like this is this family mentality. And you could feel that it wasn't perfect. I have to say, we also had one or two, not of the best experiences, but what you felt is that there were, like, the core team was to quite some extent truly caring. Also, the woman that showed us the hotel room and stuff like that. So, and there were like this level to detail that you would normally not do for a client, but you would do it for a family member, you know. And I think these small things that they make them, that's what makes them successful, is because they kind of, that is their reality. And I think what a company has as a goal is we need to create a shared reality that is fun and engaging. And for that, it needs to be a human reality, something. And I think family is such an easy way to like think of, okay, that's how we treat each other, like family, not a dysfunctional family, which we also are sometimes, but like a heart, you know?
It reminds me of this quote saying like people don't remember what they did or what they saw, but they remember how it made them feel. So when they experience something in a hotel, or if they buy a product and the customer service is absolutely shitty, it could be the best product ever that they bought, but they would probably not buy again if the customer service, if they don't feel treated very well. In comparison to the hotel you just talked about, they made them feel like home, like family. People could feel it, could see it. This is what they remember. Much rather what kind of food they ordered.
I think with that family part as well, if we now go somewhere, for example, if we go together to clients, we sit in the car, we take along the whole video crew, we go somewhere. I think these days we also take our family a little bit along. Yeah. So if I go alone there, or if I go alone to a customer, doing a training or a workshop, then I'm there, you know, there are all the others. And yes, maybe I have like an impact on their culture a little bit, or they might have like an okay day because I'm there, or it's just, I have like a little impact on them. If we go there together, I mean, we now traveled more together than we just traveled together. It's just, we get there. And just the fact that it's the two of us there is like, we just completely changed the whole culture of the rooms we're in, you know? It's just, we're there. And
it becomes all of a sudden fun. And that's what you feel like in this. I 100% agree with you, is then because we are quite late, and we are kind of also forcing this laid back, but it's so important. because like normally you get into a company and everybody's quite serious because stuff needs to get done. And that's the first thing we consciously or subconsciously do, is shake people so they get into a more loosey-goosey kind of mindset where they can actually relax and then be themselves, because especially in front of the camera, we need them being them. We need them having fun. Also, our camera guy, he needs to like feel good. Everybody needs to feel good. And this is not just from, everybody's happy, but it really works out better. You can see that then on the video production. You can see it in the participants of trainings, of workshops. Once they relax, they also share their challenges much more openly. They actually are honest instead of saying, so who has a challenge? Nobody. I rarely have that in a workshop.
Really? No one? So we wrote something down, you know? It's like, oh no, please. It's a little bit like that. And we both have that when we're alone there.
More, for sure, yeah.
I think you less than I do, because you're becoming like a true child if that happens, you know?
Yeah.
That's so cool about you. It's like you provoke all the people around you
always
until they like until that shell breaks apart.
Yeah.
I don't do that.
No, it's also a little bit weird, so don't do it. But I understand. But I get what you mean.
I really respect that you push so hard until like that shell breaks. And if we go there together, it's usually strong enough to like break everything.
Yeah.
That's just so peaceful as well, you know. And you're at the end of the day, you're just less tired.
Yeah. Yeah.
That is like just the outcome you can feel, probably you can measure on your body. You know, it's like
probably you could measure it how you breathe. You could literally say that probably after a day when you had fun and you were productive. Both, like just fun is also fun. I mean, that's also productive. But this combination between afterwards you have a tangible product, like you've even a successful workshop or whatever, and you had fun at the same time, then you feel healthier. I'm sure, like the whole. Like a lot of our health problems is because now I'm getting into danger zone, but I feel a lot of our health problems stem from not being ourselves, playing a role, and this playing a role changes your breathing. And through changing your breathing, you breathe shallower, which you can see in every yoga class you go to, the way people breathe. They don't know it anymore. Just on the upper area, you can check yourself, actually. Check where you are right now with your breath. Are you in your belly like a baby? Like you see, every baby makes a big belly when they breathe. Or are you up? And that all has a huge impact. So it's not only important for success of a company that you have a kind of an authentic culture, it's also a health investment, I feel. So it's very meta now, but I feel that is definitely the case. I feel much healthier now than I felt 10 years ago. I feel healthier. I feel more awake. I feel better because I do not put myself so much in, I still do, but don't put myself so much in situations where it's like, okay, now it's pretend Kai time. You know, now it's mask time. I don't have that so much anymore. And I think that has a tremendous impact on my energy. I still have it, but less. It's like, again, that's where people get hung up on. Me too. It's like, am I inauthentic or am I authentic? No, it's a spectrum. You are maybe here and then you want to move towards this other direction. And this movement helps you. Otherwise you get stuck. I'm just lying everywhere. And that's not a good mindset. It's just lie a little bit less, you know? Yeah. Or like lying is a harsh word, but pretend a little bit less and be more and just see what happens with your clients, etc. And what you will find is the good clients love it. They love it.
And do it now.
Yeah.
You know, I'm not starting next week, or it's just do it now. How hard can it be?
How hard can it be?
I love when you say, how hard can it be? Come on. Usually you say, come on.
Come on, how hard can it be? Yeah, family. So, when are we going to extend our family? In what direction?
Well, I know in an organic way it's going to happen. But
you're already doing it.
I'm doing it. True.
No, but
growth is an interesting thing. Sorry, Sina, you wanted to.
I mean, like it is growing already. I feel like the network and the people we bring on board, or people who come into our lives, and then we're like, oh, this could be actually a great fit to the company. I feel like this is already happening since we started.
Yeah.
It's been going on constantly.
But is it fit or fit?
What do you mean fit?
It's just, I think I learned that as well from you guys. It's just like, it feels good with many people. And I love to collaborate with different people, different project, anything, you name it. It doesn't really matter. But then really like taking like someone and put it like in your family. It has to be like a fit. It has to be like,
Yeah, that's true.
For me, it's the trust part where my intuition is very loud. Can I trust them? Or do they trust me also, or us, so to say? And something else where I'm like, what I sometimes have running through my head when we choose to get somebody on board, because I did this already, 8 years ago. So I had a big project and I needed a team of 5. And I only chose people who I thought, first of all, had the skills, yes. But second of all, me imagining spending 7 days of conference, because that was the project, in one room with them 24/7, if this would actually work, or if we would all kill each other and freak out. And if I would think like, yes, it could work because of the way we communicate or the values we share, that we get to talk about it, it's a fit. And then I knew from the trust level, it's a fit.
Cool.
How to say. So now when we get people on board, I don't really need to talk to them too much. It's more about sensing. I don't know, it sounds weird, but
is
my
it really
intuition.
That trust thing for you? I trust everyone. That's weird.
You trust everyone?
I trust everyone.
I do give a lot of trust to everyone as well. And yet I know they're going to be part of the family. So I'm a little bit like a lion mother who wants to make sure whoever's coming into the crib is not hurting anybody. I don't know, maybe I don't really know how to explain it, but I'm sensing rather than making it on a rational level, deciding that. I know you, for example, Kai, you look them into the eyes and you know many times, for example, of people we work with, for example.
Yeah. And that sounds very strange. You look people into the eyes, but
then you know.
Yeah. But
it's also hard to describe of what I mean. I don't know. Like maybe if you guys know or have similar feelings, let me know how you would describe it. Maybe I can relate to yours.
I think it's the most underrated skill in business that is just not talked about. It's intuition. I think that's a different word for it. Gut feeling. Every big entrepreneur is talking about it. Nobody's listening to it. But this is such a core skill, and it's like to listen to your intuition, to even first recognize it and then also listen to it and act upon it takes a lot of courage. So a lot of times I don't do it also in my normal life. I know my intuition tells me this, but I'm doing the opposite, because we talked about this many times on this podcast, because my intellect I have a very strong intellect that has the illusion of being very smart and blah, blah, blah. And so it just dissects my intuition very fast. But it's true. If you look into people's eyes, you can, if you can shut down a little bit your intellect, you can actually see a lot.
So what do you see in my red eyes?
Today?
You're tired. You should go to sleep.
It's hard to describe, but it's like literally like you see how deep are those eyes. Are they, or how many layers are in front of it? And this is not something that people do from an evil space, but a lot of people have a lot of layers. And it seems like you look at them, but you cannot see them. That's the best way I can explain it. And that sounds very woo. but you just like, I cannot see them. And then there's people who have like, they are able to hold eye contact, and you're just seeing them. Like it just pops up. It's a feeling. It's an intuition, as you said. And if I have this intuition, I'm like, okay, fine. This is a good person. Doesn't mean that I would let them into our family in the sense, and that sounds very cliquey.
It sounds like we're standing in front of a nightclub and say, you get in,
but
it's not like that.
But it's about how, like, to cooperate with somebody on a project, or to say like, okay, would you like to be a partner in our company? I'm talking about this differentiation. And I have many people I love to collaborate with on a project base. And then there is very rare people. It's very rarely that I think like, maybe a partner. And that's why I'm also very, I don't want to grow too fast, because we are now in a point where we could probably just push it a little bit, and we can easily grow very fast. Also, we could also grow the core company very fast, but
we could easily double the revenue within a year.
Yes, probably.
Just like get all those projects which are flying around, which are just a little bit also flying around waiting.
Yeah. And be more aggressive about them. But then again,
do you really want that?
Exactly. And that's where I think I'm just very careful we are also careful about just like, we have to spend a lot of time then on these projects. And is that something that we truly enjoy doing? And so far, the projects are just getting more and more fun. So that's why I'm very careful with...
For example, Zurich. Just imagine that monster would have killed us.
Yes. And
I think it's a good way to check in on each project. If we want to have it fun is usually feels light, right? So does it feel light or does it feel heavy to do it? To check in with yourselves and like ourselves. I think that's always a good way, at least for me, to do that.
And it doesn't mean that every project we're like, oh, this is the best project. We also do some projects where we're like medium excited about, but the amount of those days just become less and less. I feel it's quite courageous. Like once you look like, is this truly something we would enjoy? People kind of sense this energy, and then I don't know, it's strange. And then the projects that are coming are more fun and fulfilling.
I think we're also shaping our projects more and more.
Yes, that's true.
It's sometimes still the same projects as we had like months and years ago, but because we got a little bit more ballsy and a little bit more, maybe also a little bit more dominant, like in terms of like role we have in those projects, we are able to make them more fun than they used to be.
And I think more impactful as well. It's not just how we say
more impactful, but it's more fun, and we do it more our way.
Yeah.
And we just say we're going there. We talk to the customer and we tell them, that doesn't make any sense.
Yeah.
And I never dared to say that like 2 or 3 or 4 years ago.
Yeah.
Because I was like, oh, I need that project. Ooh, it's so important for me. And now it's like, oh, yeah, no, just please. That doesn't make any sense.
Yeah. And you're helping the client actually with that, because that's what they're paying you.
Exactly.
That's called a consultant, is to challenge.
Yeah.
But oftentimes we are in a scared mindset. We're like, oh no, I can feel now maybe I shouldn't say it or stuff like that. And I see that. That's actually something I'm looking very much up to you, is like you sometimes have these moments where I clench different parts of my body a little bit. I'm not going to name them, but let's see what happens. And 90% of the time, it's actually a positive outcome. People might be a little bit perplexed. Some customers are like, oh, but they start to think and challenge their status quo. And what is that? What better thing to do for a client is than to, because it's for us, it's the same. You live in your matrix, and then you need somebody sometimes from the outside who says like, wait a minute, this doesn't make any sense and then there oftentimes, I kind of knew that, but now that you're saying it and formulating it, now we can kind of move ahead. And I think that's the most fun projects where you actually, and we have where we have some fundamental changes in big organizations where I'm like, oh, this just happened. This is cool. And for the better, I subjectively think. Who knows? But for a more open work collaboration, for a less fear-based communication and stuff like that, and that's very nice.
Yeah, fun communications, like between like different levels of leadership and stuff like that. That just happens then, you know?
Yeah, that's fun.
Which is cool.
I just realized the word fun isn't fundamental, because it's just a little side note, which is cool,
That's a good
because
one.
we made it to one of our fundamentals. Fundamental.
Would also be a good
Company name.
No, we don't have this name.
Oh, no.
We're just calling
It's our next project. It's gonna be
We need to
fundamental.
change it in the hundreds.
There's probably 100 companies there.
I think what is interesting as well is like you said it's trust. You said that you sort of see it in a little bit in the eyes.
What is it for you?
Or gut feeling. I would call it
Or
gut feeling. Yeah.
For me, it's really it's weird, but it's a little bit that extra mile. It's that family. If, for example, I know I could call you up, I could be in Paris and say like, dude, I need your help. Can you come with your van? And even though your van is broken, you would drive to Paris.
It's not broken. It's
just a little bit fucked up.
But it just doesn't show how fast it's going. But who needs a speedometer?
He would come and pick you up.
Anytime.
I would also come pick you up.
And you would come and you would pick me up, and I would come and I would pick you up, and there wouldn't be a discussion. And for example, I would tell it to Suni, and like, I'm picking up Kai, and if she would ask me why, then I would yell at her, you know? It's like
because it's family.
it's
Hi, Suni.
no, but or that the question that wouldn't even pop up.
No, I also think that Suni
And
wouldn't.
that is a very, very important thing for me.
Yeah.
And that is family. I have that with my friends. With some of them, I have two. And I have that with also not so close friends. I know I could call them up anytime and they would do anything for you. And that is just such a different feeling.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And I even have that when we're sitting in different countries on different desks, just doing remote work, all of us. And I still feel it. Like, I still feel like you guys are very close in a way. And that's for me is family also. Yeah, but yesterday I said I miss you guys and you didn't respond anything.
It's true. We didn't.
When did you say that?
On the call.
Oh.
Really?
Oh, it's a completely different set. But yes, we also miss you. But now we're here.
It's okay. Now we see each other today.
Yeah, I don't remember if I missed you yesterday, so I wouldn't be honest of me. I want to stay authentic with myself.
Sometimes I'm needy.
Yeah, it's fine. I'm needy too.
And then I'm asking for it. And then I'm laughing it off.
Crying it off.
Crying it off. Alone in your bed.
Okay. Why don't you love me? Just kidding. I have one more point though.
Oh,
Please.
Because when we formed this company, all of us said and agreed to this also is we want to all be part of something, like being a small part of something bigger than just us. And not something big, like not every client comes to me and I need to decide, I need to do everything, but I'm just but I'm a small part of something bigger with you guys. Also with what we do, the impact we have, it's bigger than just me. And that's also for me something I feel like is important for me to have in this family. And I have moments, for example, when you two go on a filming project, like, now I'm not part of that, or get sad a little bit, and then I'm like, wait a minute, I'm part of something bigger, and you are also part of something bigger.
Yeah.
It's part of being in this family also, and the impact we have. And then me knowing I contribute just as much by delivering another workshop on that day is also contributing to the whole success of the bigger thing. If you're getting what I'm saying. It's a little bit confusing, but for me, it's just nice to leave my ego behind and not thinking, instead of just doing my best and knowing you guys are doing your best, and we're all taking part in this bigger thing. Now I don't know where I'm getting with this, but
I know exactly.
For me, it feels very nice to know I'm part of this family and also part of something bigger.
Mm-hmm. Sometimes, if you do like a workshop together, then I feel proud, even though I have nothing to do with it.
I also feel proud, or feel proud.
And I think I said that to have it's very important from where it's coming. No, I said that that it's better to be something small of something big than something big of something small.
Yes, you said it in the beginning.
The funny thing is, I think that the something small now of something big is already bigger than the something big of that already changed again, It grew much, much quicker than I could have grown by myself.
Same. Yeah.
For sure. Yeah.
Absolutely.
And there's just so much more traction, so much more gravity around that office these days than a year or 2 years ago.
Yeah,
It's
absolutely.
People are popping in and asking us for advice and want to know something. Or there's if there is a project going on somewhere, then so one of us is involved here, because why not? It's very, very different. But that wasn't the case 1.5 years ago.
Yeah.
And I feel even though just one person is involved in that specific project, I feel all of us as a family, we are involved emotionally also in this project and also helping each other. And I can ask you for advice for a workshop. You don't deliver, but I deliver. But I can still use your knowledge for it as well. Yeah.
And that's what we talked with you, Sina, on the way here when we walked. We said that it's crazy how many consulting firms do not really care about the impact. Or not consulting, any company. They primarily, don't get me wrong, I love cash, but most companies primarily care. They don't care about the client truly. It's a really interesting. They don't. If you really go and you see it in behavior, where I'm how can you be? And this is for me, unprofessional has a completely different connotation. It doesn't mean whether you wear a tie or you say the right things and Grüezi. It's about unprofessional is for me if you're not caring. And a lot of people, I think, do not, or in a lot of companies, because they might not be aligned with stuff. It's I'm always surprised at how little they care. How can you not care? How can you have such a low quality standard for things? And maybe you are a client of us and think we have I don't know. But
and if so, please tell us.
Please let us know.
Let us know. It's exactly the same with you. Then I would love to know. Then we actually can change something about it.
Yeah, exactly.
But not caring, doing a project, knowing from day one that this is not going to work, but then doing those 30 days of consulting days anyway.
It's crushing you.
It's crushing, and everybody goes out as a zombie. Yes, great knowledge, but not useful.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I've done such projects in the past.
Many times.
Guilty of that. And it's not fun, and it's again, not even healthy. Because after days like this, where I knew I was there just to make money, but not really created an impact, I felt tired, exhausted. I didn't feel like doing sports in the evening. I was I just need a beer. I feel like that quite often. But even if it's stuff like that, I'm I just need a beer, And I didn't feel like being socially in the evening, going out for sports stuff. And so it has this culmination effect of unhealthy things. And I still see it a lot of times. People do stuff because even though they would be in a position, let's say, I'm never going to talk down people, just try to make a buck, of course. But there's a lot of people who I see which have enough, and I mean more than enough, but still do it for the cash and not for the impact. And and it's not even egoistical. It's not even good for yourself. Why?
And I think sometimes you could just easily like tweak something.
Yeah.
Very small. Like just say like, we now did that workshop 3 times. It didn't have the impact. Why don't we change it like here a bit, add something, take something away, reduce it by an hour. That's usually like the thing which kills most of the people.
It's that it's too long.
It's just everything is too long. And then we earn the same amount of money, but then it actually works at the end. And it's not a lot of work.
But it's harder to sell.
You need to balls to actually say something, to speak up. And I think to come back to the first topic, that is vulnerability as well.
Exactly. Yeah.
And
to speak
also
up.
caring for the client. And also, if we bring it back to the family thing, caring about each other and the impact. Yeah.
It's making a good impression versus creating an impact. It's like these are 2 different things. It's like one is like, okay, we need to do the training from 8 until 5 in the evening because our client wants to have this and this and this included. And we rather have one more topic and one more topic and one more topic. But if we're completely honest, no human being learns like that. People are just tired and done in the evening and forget half of it. But if you do it from 9 to 4 maybe, and you give a good lunch break, and you focus on 40% less topics, and then you condense it down. Have the courage. It needs courage. I think it needs a lot of courage from consultants, but also clients to say, okay, yeah, that's true. Because, right, humans are not machines. They are humans. So let's put that human factor back in the center. Then you have a much better impact. But it takes courage, I think. Yeah.
Lots of it.
All right.
So
46.
46.
Perfect. It was a pleasure. Thank you very much for listening. If you stuck with us until the end, we
like and subscribe on YouTube. You find us on Spotify.
Yes, and Apple Podcast. Exactly. And we have I have a Skillshare course online. So if you look for Kai Kristen as a trainer on Skillshare, you can find a course about how to use coaching as a leadership tool. So if you're interested in that, we're going to drop a link in the description where you get even a couple of months free Skillshare, and you can cancel at any time if you want to do that and see a little bit more application-based stuff.
And to raise a little bit the pressure for us, there will be much more Skillshare courses in the future as
Coming
well.
soon. Yeah.
Coming very soon. Not very soon. Coming soonish. And
if you have any questions or topics you would like us to cover here, let us know in the comments.
Yeah.
Thank you for listening.
Thank you. Bye.
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 Awkward business. Awkward business. Podcast.
Live.